Brain Gainz.
Yeah.
All right, hello everyone and welcome. It is July 2019 and this is Brain Gainz, the show brought to you live from Bodybuilding.com headquarters. My name is Tyler, this is my good friend Alec. How you doing, bud?
Good, man. It's my Friday today.
Yeah, mine too. I actually get to go home, take the Friday off, do a little home renovation. Feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah, I'm going to be climbing a mountain.
Wait, what?
A mountain.
What do you mean?
Like a literal mountain.
Oh, okay, cool. I guess he's gonna go climb a mountain. I'm pretty excited. It is super hot outside, so make sure you stay hydrated. And speaking of hydration, we're gonna be talking a lot about that today. So strap in, it's gonna be a good time. Don't forget, this is a live show. This is an open format show. So if you have any questions about what we're talking about today, please feel free to ask those in chat. We will address them here and hopefully get back to you. So yeah, please feel free. And then if we don't get to your question here, shoot us an email, brain.gainz@bodybuilding.com. So today, what are we talking about?
Talking about some amino acids and some hydration.
That's right, amino acids. So there's been a lot of new news about amino acids lately. There's been a lot of questions on our forums about amino acids through socials. We've had a lot of cool sales on amino acids lately. So a lot of questions abounding, so we wanted to address some of those. But then it's also been really hot. People are working out in the summer, and we know that like BCAAs, EAAs, those are real big during the summer as well. So if you have any questions specific to those topics, again, throw those in chat. We will get to them, or send us an email at brain.gainz@bodybuilding.com. So let's get started with what is an amino acid. So an amino acid is kind of a big, broad chemical term for a molecule that has two carbons, a carboxylic acid, a nitrogen group, and then what they call an R chain on the side. But basically what it means is a group on the side from there. Very specific chemical structure, but it could mean many different things for what that molecule eventually looks like. 20 of them are used to make proteins throughout our body, but there are also many, many more different kinds. But we are talking about some specific ones today, mainly the branched chain amino acids. And that is a group of three. That's leucine, isoleucine, and valine. And that the branched chain amino acids just simply means that the group on the side of them has a branched structure. We put a lot of focus on branched chain amino acids mainly because leucine, kind of the leader of the branched chain amino acids, is very important in activating the pathway for building muscle. So we like to talk about leucine a lot, and I'm sure we'll get to it a lot more in a bit. On top of that, the essential amino acids is a much broader category. It is 9 of the 20 amino acids that your body uses to make protein. We call them essential amino acids because it is essential that you consume them because your body cannot make them by itself. You have to eat them. The essential amino acids include the branched chain amino acids, but then also 6 more: histidine, lysine, methionine, phenylalanine, threonine, and good old tryptophan. So that's what we're talking about today. What is a branched chain amino acid? What's an essential amino acid? What's the difference? When do you want one versus the other? Are they good for working out? Are they good for recovery? And so on and so forth. So again, keep those questions coming. We already have a ton, so let's take a couple of those right off the bat, and then we can go into specifics in a little bit.
Here's a good one. YouTube, what do amino acids do?
So, that's a huge question. I mean, but
then it's also
big softball. Amino acids are basically the building blocks of protein. If we're going to put it most simply, there's lots of different kinds, but the main 20 that we talk about are the building blocks of protein. So the protein that makes up your muscles and your skin and the tissue of your body is built from amino acids in an infinite number of structures and forms and shapes and sizes.
It's Legos for your muscle.
That's the most easy way to put it. They're the Lego building blocks, and the different combinations that they get put in lead to different structures being made. So let's see, what else do we have? Sunny from YouTube. I heard that BCAAs can break down your muscles because they don't use all the amino acids. So Sunny's actually referencing a study that came out kind of recently. I believe it came out in the last couple months. And the study showed in certain environments that if you apply branched chain amino acids by themselves to a system, it can actually have a negative effect on the muscle nitrogen balance because the leucine that is supplied tells your muscle to build, but if there are 0 other amino acids in that system, then the only place that a muscle can get amino acids to build muscle is from itself, which is not awesome. However, I don't believe that taking BCAAs in complete isolation is something that we ever really see. People eat food which contains amino acids. People are also consuming protein shakes and meats, and even a lot of vegetables that have protein, a lot of grains that have protein in them, albeit very little. Like, I don't believe there's a situation where someone is consuming branched-chain amino acids strictly by themselves. So, in isolation, in this study, I think they found something that is true and something that we need to be aware of, that having a good protein balance and a wide range of amino acids in your body all the time is important. But to say that consuming amino acids, branched-chain amino acids, is literally detrimental to the status of your muscles, I think we need to learn a lot more about that before we go around saying that, so we'll see. Alec, do aminos really boost energy? Thanks, YouTube, for the question.
So the way that amino acids work, they don't necessarily boost up any sort of energy base. So it's purely based on recovery. You're not just going to take like a BCAA supplement and assume that's going to just boom give you energy, or it's going to be digested and kind of converted to energy. Protein isn't going to cause energy like that either. So the way it's metabolized is different than say consuming a sugar or say a stimulant. Yeah, it's not the same way with that. That's why you see a lot of amino acid products that have a stimulant effect, like amino recovery or a BCAA energy or kind of optimum, their version of that as well. Yeah, it's not going to necessarily give you energy.
So BCAAs are not stimulants, which is very safe to say. So you're not going to feel a boost of energy. But remember, amino acids can be turned into things like sugars within your body. They can be used to help create ATP, which is a form of energy, but you're not going to feel like stimulated.
It's like,
there's kind of like two definitions of the word energy, and you have to discriminate between
It's the path, because when it comes to energy cannot be created nor destroyed. By consuming something, in the end, it can be kind of converted down the path, but it's not going to be like jumped at the front of the line to be able to boost you up.
Exactly. Okay, so one of the big questions that we get a lot, and we wanted to address this kind of right off the bat, is where do BCAAs, where do EAAs, and where do proteins sit when it comes to recovery? And we've talked about this before, I think, on a Brain Gainz like a year ago, a long time ago, but we wanted to address it again because we have lots of new viewers and questions pertaining specifically to this. So Alec, why don't you speak a little bit to what we talked about before, the good, better, best?
Okay, so the good, better, best system is fun in the sense that, I mean, there's plenty of analogies you can do. You can do like upgrading your crayon pack from the basic and working up to the big one with the little sharpener on there, right? So in this case, BCAAs being the good in the sense that you're consuming some additional amino acids, leucine being the big one, to help any sort of muscle protein synthesis benefit, recovery in that aspect as well. Then you have your better, which would be the EAA selection, because you're getting all of the essential amino acids in that case. So you're getting all three branched chains on top of that. And then the best would be a complete protein or a whey protein or consuming food. That would be the like better, best.
The super best.
Yes, the bestest would be that situation.
Right, so that's why when we talk about protein, we talk about complete proteins. So whey protein, it tastes really good. It's easy for us to get our hands on from a financial perspective, but then it's also a complete protein. And I know we see that word thrown around quite a bit, but it means that the protein contains within the structure of the protein all of the essential amino acids. And so by consuming whey protein, you are getting a dose of EAAs tied up within the structure of the protein, and thus you are also getting a dose of BCAAs. So the question may be, why would I want to take EAAs instead of protein? Why would I want to take BCAAs instead of EAAs instead of protein?
So it'd be maybe a situational time, right? So say if you are in a case where you're on the run and you just have an EAA product on you, that's going to do it's going to assist your recovery better than a BCAA product standalone. Like after you're lifting and you want to get something, maybe it's a flavor profile you like better from that perspective. Maybe it sits in your stomach better. It's less heavy. That some people have even just a scoop of protein kind of hits them a little harder. If you happen to have a tub of protein at your disposal, do it to it. That's a better scenario for recovery and for muscle building. But having said that, it's not a bad idea to have an EAA product on hand.
Right.
Again, you're just using a different club in your pack. So
we like to always advise that people have a very clear understanding of the type of protein that they're consuming and what that protein is supplying. This is most important for people who are consuming plant proteins. Unfortunately, a lot of plant proteins are not complete proteins, meaning that they're not supplying all of the essential amino acids. And so EAAs or even just BCAAs might be a really good supplement to someone taking a plant protein, because that way you're getting all of the amino acids that you need in order to be most successful with your muscle gains. Or just make sure that the protein, if you are consuming a plant protein, make sure it's a mixed one. That way, coming from multiple sources, that way they can make a complete protein out of it.
Which is a good point. You'll see a blend of rice. You'll see a blend of sometimes hemp in the mix. You'll see a lot of some interesting pea protein. You'll see pea and rice or
soy protein's really
soy, watermelon seed,
all that stuff. Yeah,
all that fun stuff. But the point is that it's a more of a concoction to reach that complete protein.
Right, and so if you need to supplement with BCAAs or essential amino acids, they are there for you and they taste great. Them tasting great is actually a good segue into these 2 questions. We got 2 of them from YouTube, basically asking the same thing. Do sweeteners used in these products do any harm by taking them multiple times a day, or are sweeteners harmful? So I think this question hails back to some studies that were done like a long time ago, like the 60s and 70s, looking at really, really, really high doses of sweeteners like sucralose and ACE-K and that kind of thing. And it turns out that if you feed a rat the equivalent amount of sweetener to like 127 Coca-Colas in a day, it's not good for them. And so people got the idea that these sweeteners were automatically detrimental to your health. We have no reason to believe that any of these sweeteners are anything but safe. We only use products that are allowable by the FDA. These are food additives that are approved by the FDA. There is nothing in our products that would cause any sort of harm, and if there were, we would take it out immediately. Please feel safe using sweeteners. I do know that some people have issues with certain types of sweeteners. They don't sit well, and if you need to avoid certain things like sucralose or stevia, sometimes people have issues with those. Very uncommon, but it is possible. But yeah, nothing unsafe.
And to kind of piggyback what Tyler said with the amount of like Coca-Colas it would take to consume, like to cause some sort of detrimental effect on you. In a product like a BCAA, you're going to have maybe 0.06 to like percent of the formula. 0.06,
It's
not 6%. 0.06% of the actual formula is a sweetener.
Sure.
So it doesn't take much to sweeten a product.
Right. It's very, very small dose.
So we've had customer service will reach out to our department asking that for customers, like how much of our product contains X, and I'm happy to say that it's a very, very safe amount.
Oh wow, we have way more questions than I thought. Ha! All right, that's all we're going to talk about sweeteners. If you guys have more questions about those, please feel free to shoot us an email, brain.gainz with a Z at bodybuilding.com. We'd love to answer those. We've gotten quite a few questions on the email lately, and it's really great to hear people ask good questions, be inquisitive, want to learn more, and Alec and I always try and get back to those as soon as we can. So shoot emails, brain.gainz at bodybuilding.com. We have a mountain of questions here. How much of BCAAs is required daily for a hardcore gainer?
I would say for BCAAs, maybe if you're hardcore gainer, but
I feel like that's more about calories than anything else.
Yeah, so from that perspective, yeah, it's not like consuming 5 grams versus 10 grams really do the benefit on you from that. It's consume more food.
Right, so when we're looking at people who are gaining, we want them to be consuming something like 2 to 3 grams of protein per pound of body weight a day. It's a lot. And it's all about consuming large amounts of calories on top of working very hard in the gym. If you are consuming that much protein in a day, I don't think you need to worry about your leucine intake unless all of that protein is plant protein that doesn't have leucine in it. But if your protein is whey, if your protein is meat protein, you're getting plenty of leucine just by consuming the sheer volume of food that you have to get in order to be gaining weight. So good luck with that. Gaining weight is hard, so good luck. I really, really wish you the best.
On that token, another question from YouTube. If you're eating a high protein diet, do you really need BCAAs? So like we kind of addressed in the good, better, best system, if you have a high protein diet, if you're eating a solid ratio to your weight, whether you go by total body weight or you go by lean muscle mass, that's probably the best way to go about it. These products still have a place in your repertoire for it in case of, say, you have an issue getting water in, and we're going to address that too in a bit for hydration's sake. Some people genuinely do not like drinking water. Like that, unfortunately, is a thing.
It's true.
And
yeah, water's gross.
Yeah, so it has no flavor. Well, I love water, but that's just me. But frankly, if you can flavor a product and you can get some sort of amino acid benefit on top of that,
that's right.
That's a big thing, and we'll address that. But I would say it can have a place for it. But in the end, calories and protein are king.
Sure.
So.
All right, we could have guessed that this question was going to pop up. We love talking about creatine. What is the difference between creatine and BCAAs? The difference is they are two very different things. So BCAAs are amino acids. They are building blocks for protein. We've been talking about them for the last 15 minutes. Creatine is basically the prerequisite for an energy source, a direct energy source. So you supplement creatine to increase the amount of creatine in your muscles, which gets turned into phosphocreatine. It means it's the storage device for a phosphate group so that your body can quickly make ATP so that when you are in need of energy in quick spurts like quick sprints or heavy lifting, your body is able to activate energy systems almost immediately. Unfortunately, creatine and phosphocreatine, they run out very quick. It is a quickly accessible but quickly running out energy system. Only lasts like 15 to 20 seconds. So supplementing with creatine helps that last just a little bit longer. So they're very different. I know that we talk about them at the same time a lot because they're kind of staples in the supplement world, but they are in fact two very different things for very different purposes. In all caps, do aminos actually work for recovery? So you got to define what you mean by recovery. We have lots of data that associates consumption of BCAAs with decreased delayed onset muscle soreness. We also show that taking increased amounts of leucine or hitting that 3 grams of leucine with your protein shake after you're done working out is associated with the most amount of muscle protein synthesis after you're done. So if your definition of recovery is muscle growth or rebuilding after a workout, then the answer is yes. If recovery means performance day after or performance 24 hours after exercise, I actually don't know if I've seen that, but that is a metric that people use for recovery as well.
Some people use soft tissue repair as well, which is a different ballgame. You're not going to say like your IT band heal up because
and I definitely wouldn't say it will like heal your joints. It won't take your joint pain away or anything like that. But define recovery correctly, and the answer is yes. I shouldn't say correctly, but define it in some ways, then the answer is yes. From Facebook, I've seen too many studies that say they are ineffective and useless. Essential amino acids are the way to go. But can we all get that from a proper diet anyway? Am I wrong? So the answer is, can we all get everything that we need from a proper diet? Answer is yes. Always yes. But with supplements and with people who are working out and sometimes people who are working on a limited budget, the answer is not always yes, unfortunately. And getting a strong, balanced diet with strong doses of all the essential amino acids, and particularly the branched chains, it's not always feasible. I know that the branched chains are not very prominent in the ramen noodle diet. And so it's a bummer of a truth. When it comes to BCAAs, they are ineffective. As we mentioned before, BCAAs, if you work out hard and you're exercising hard every day and you're eating like crap, but you think to yourself, I'm going to take these BCAAs and that's going to make me grow muscle and everything's going to be fine. All I need to do is eat my ramen noodles and my branched chain amino acid. You're probably not going to be successful. And in that case, it's probably not going to be great. We like to say, remember, like we mentioned before, having branched chain amino acids as a supplement to what is already a strong diet and exercise program, we believe that it is a benefit. So there you go.
And again, to reiterate that, in the front of anything with a supplement facts panel, you're gonna see a little line on the front of the label that says dietary supplement. It's meant to supplement your diet. So in the end, that's what it is. And in the cases of like BCAAs, or it would like kind of touch back on the diet question. One, we all don't have the same amount of time and money when it comes down to it. So being able to afford a proper diet would be outstanding, but we all can't just do that from a daily basis. We're working right now, right? So like versus just being in a kitchen doing this and that. So
we got this question from YouTube in chat, but we also got it from the survey that we put out earlier in the week. So if you guys don't know, we have surveys that we put out via our YouTube community page. We usually ask about topics that we're going to be talking about on Brain Gainz coming up. So if you guys don't have your eyes on the community page, make sure that you do. This question comes from there. Do amino acids affect your kidneys? I would assume this is asking, do it negatively affect your kidneys? You're eating amino acids every day. Every bit of protein that you eat is full of amino acids, and your kidneys are outstanding at doing away with extra amino acids. Now, granted, your body is actually using the vast majority of those. It's using them for building, using them for different biochemical processes within your body. But if you do have extra, the answer is yes. Your kidneys are great at getting rid of them. There's nothing that we know that shows that the amount of amino acids that a normal person would consume would have any detrimental effect on your kidneys. So go wild. Should be good. Let's see.
Hit another one, and then we'll segue into a little bit of hydration.
Go for it.
Let's see here. Here's a good one. This is a classic question that gets brought up all the time when it comes to BCAAs or amino acids in general. YouTube, is it true that most commercial BCAAs are derived from human hair and duck feather? So, from a sourcing perspective, historically, quite a bit, you have instances like that. But something to be concerned about is that, or excuse me, something not to be concerned about is the actual sourcing of something along those lines, because, well, at the end, the molecule is a molecule, right? You have some some veggie sourced amino acids you can get as well. They're more expensive for a lot of suppliers to do. But when it comes down to chemically speaking, amino acids, it's not going to hurt you the fact that it's sourced from duck feathers and human hair. So.
And if you feel uncomfortable with that, like we mentioned, there are other sources as well. You may have seen the term fermented BCAAs. What that means is the branched chain amino acids are being literally made by, I believe it's yeast or bacteria sometimes, and then they ferment them like they would a beer or a kombucha, and then one of the products of that is amino acids. So that is what fermented means. So let's move on to our kind of second topic of today, and then we'll answer some more questions in a little bit before we wrap up. So hydration. So we like to talk about BCAAs and hydration kind of in the same breath, because BCAAs are generally taken with a large amount of water. People use BCAAs to consume more water. Why is that important? So hydration is super important, especially on days like today. It's going to be almost 100 degrees here today, and I know our friends in the UK are struggling with that 100-degree weather, and I know no one there has air conditioning, so that sucks. So why is that important? We know from some awesome research that's been done by ACSM that losing as little as 2% of your body weight in water loss can have negative effects on your performance. So you will actually lift less, you will run slower, you will tire quicker if you've lost 2% of your body weight in water. And you might think to yourself, oh, that's not that much. I'm not going to sweat off 2 pounds of water when I'm working out. And the answer is you probably won't. You're right. But don't forget, every breath that you take, every move that you make, you lose some water. And so you may actually also be going into your workout a little bit dehydrated as well. So that means minus 2% from euhydration status, euhydration meaning exactly hydrated. So if you are not already exactly hydrated or hyperhydrated, you may be going in underneath, and so you got to be aware of where your hydration status is, or else you're going to lose some performance there. Also, hydration is very important on hot days because water is really important for temperature control inside your body. So you have to maintain that 98.6. And I know that when you're out in the heat, it's easy to neglect your internal temperature. And we see a lot of things like heat stroke, heat exhaustion from people who are just simply not staying hydrated because they are unable to sweat as much as they need to. They're unable to get the circulation that they need in order to release the heat that they're creating by working out outside. So please be aware of that. Please stay hydrated on hot days like today. I know it's a little bit easier to get away with when you're working out inside, but for all of our people at football camp this week, for all of our friends who like doing outdoor exercise like triathlons and such, please, please, please stay hydrated. And if you need BCAAs to make your water taste better, so you drink more of it, then please do it that way. We would love that. Finally is electrolyte balance. So water is very important in making sure that your electrolyte balance is maintained. Really important electrolytes in your body are sodium, potassium, and chloride mainly. I think magnesium is another good one as well. But the one that we watch out for mostly is potassium, actually. This is one that goes kind of under the radar quite a bit. But interestingly, I'm kind of swinging the other way on the pendulum with this one. You can actually drink too much water when you're exercising, and we've seen this happen before. You drink so much water that you actually dilute the potassium in your blood, and you go into a state called hypokalemia, meaning that the concentration of potassium in your blood is actually too low, and this can lead to issues as well, hyperhydration. So again, this is not a definitive answer. I can't tell you exactly how much water to drink because I don't know your hydration status, but please just make sure it's something that you're monitoring. The best way to do it for people, for the layman, is actually body weight. So know how much your body weighs, and then you can see day-to-day swings. Day-to-day swings in weight are most likely hydration status changes. You're probably not losing pounds of fat over the course of the day. So pick a point during the day and then weigh yourself at that point every day so you can see your hydration status one day to the next. So anyway, that's all. I just rambled for a long time about water, so I'm going to let you take a couple questions and we'll go from there.
I just need to listen to the police after this.
I know, right?
Let's see, what's a good one? Dipping into Oh, here's a fun one from YouTube. What are your thoughts on Gatorade for hydration? So Gatorade, formula-wise, they've come a long ways on different product lines they have. But when it comes down to it, most of the time it's sugar. So it's going to help more of from an energy perspective, I would say, from hydration. For me, at least, I think the sodium and potassium intake on it, on the label itself, isn't super high for that. For the goal of hydration, right? So, but then there are quite a few products out there that try to take like coconut water to their advantage. They're putting in a decent amount of electrolytes in there. That's pretty great. I know that, like, not to plug this too well, but like our amino recovery product from like that perspective is pretty solid. But our, not amino recovery, Revel recovery, excuse me.
There you go.
I mean, depending upon what your goal is, like if you're going to be running like a triathlon, having a little extra sugar from that perspective is better for it.
There's quite a few situations where Gatorade, I know some people talk negatively about Gatorade because of the sugar, because of the calories, but there are some situations where it's super necessary. I mean, I know Gatorade was invented for the University of Florida football team because they're out there on the field for 3 hours at a time. Some of them are sweating like crazy, they're working real hard, and so having carbs and having high amounts of electrolytes can actually be really important. However, if you are not out on the field for hours at a time sweating your pits out, then you're going to have a really tough time. You're going to have a tough time using everything that you're drinking with Gatorade, and so it's there for people who really need it. If you don't really need it, then it may be excessive. So there you go. Can you tell us a little something about L-arginine? So yes, I can. L-arginine is an amino acid as well. We're not talking about it today because it's not one of the essential amino acids, but we do supplement with L-arginine for other reasons. We see it a lot in pump products. L-arginine is an activator of the nitric oxide synthesis pathway. It's not a very good activator because unfortunately your body has enzymes in your digestive system called arginases. So if you were to just consume straight arginine, you might have a bad time because not a lot of it's going to get into your system, and so unfortunately not a lot of it is capable of carrying out those effects. That's why we take citrulline, because citrulline sits right before arginine in that cycle, but you don't have any enzymes to break down citrulline. We do also have ingredients like nitrosigine, which is an inositolized and silicated arginine, which basically protects it from those arginases and allows it to carry out its action within your body without being broken down. So there you go, that's arginine. It is also used as a part of protein, but it is not an essential amino acid. Your body is capable of making it as a part of that nitric oxide synthesis pathway. So there you go, that's your spiel about arginine.
And then can you put BCAAs in a gallon of water? You can put a lot of things in a gallon of water. But if you choose to drink it that way, do it to it, it's just going to be diluted down quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, don't forget, when we formulate the products, we formulate them with a particular amount of sweetener and a particular amount of flavor to accommodate for a certain amount of water. Generally, that number is on the side of the bottle, usually between 10 and 16 ounces of water that we suggest. I don't remember the exact amount for that product. But always look on the side and see how much water one scoop is supposed to be associated with for a particular amount of flavor. But if you're adding it to, what's a gallon, 128 ounces, I believe, then you're going to have to do your math. You're going to have to do X number of scoops in order to get that specific flavor that we were going for. Or if you're open to having a much lighter taste, then you can just throw 1 or 2 scoops into a gallon as well. Okay, there you go. Do amino acids cause hair loss? No. Let's see. How fast does it take to dehydrate and rehydrate? So to dehydrate, it greatly depends on how hard you are working, how much you are sweating, and how hot it is outside. To rehydrate, that is a much more difficult question. That depends on how much you are drinking, the salinity or osmolality of the water that you are consuming, and what you are doing while you are consuming it. There's some math in there, and I'm trying to reach back into my master's program brain to see if I can remember. Rehydrating is not nearly as quick. If you are in a dehydrated state, find some water, get some electrolytes in it, and sit down for a couple hours and consume that water slowly, and you will come out just fine.
How much should women in their 50s who want to build muscle take? I'm assuming amino acids on this one.
I found the question here, sorry.
It's in the middle, in the top right there.
Cool.
So I would say in this case, trying to build muscle, focus primarily back on protein on this one. I mean, it all depends on what your dietary restrictions may be, what your take on kind of a diet kind of protocol in general. If you're consuming normal meats and cheeses and carbs and all those fun stuffs, then I would say the general rule of thumb for protein, again, is 1 gram per pound of body weight. And the kicker with it is the older you get, you need to start increasing your protein to make up for it a little bit. So it all depends on your size, your age, in your 50s, and height, weight. your activity levels. That's a kind of tough answer to go about. So
Alec nailed it. And if you have any specific questions about it or want to reach out to us for more info, brain.gainz with a Z at bodybuilding.com. We will get back to you as soon as we can. All right. I wish I could answer all these questions because there's like 50 of them here, but we have to move on. Guys, we have some new products on site and we're really excited to show them to you. Make sure you check them out. Cellucor has just come out with a new pre-workout. It is called Cellucor C4 Extreme. It is a part of their new program that is focused on transparency and labeling as well as a decreased amount of artificial ingredients. So they're shooting for natural sweeteners, natural colors, etc. And so Extreme is kind of the first iteration of that. So be on the lookout for C4 Extreme. I believe there is a deal on C4 Extreme. I think it's like BOGO 50 or something right now. Check it out, Bodybuilding.com. Also coming soon, the Genius brand. If you have seen the Genius brand, they will be onboarding on BBCom very soon. So if you are a fan of that group, make sure you hop in soon. What do we have for new flavors?
New flavors. So we have, the product is Clean Gainer from Rivalus. They have a variety of new flavors from like cinnamon toast cereal, cookies and cream, creamy vanilla, chocolate peanut butter, s'mores, and chocolate fudge. And then our friends over at Vital Proteins added tropical hibiscus for their beauty collagen and mixed berry for the collagen peptides. RX bar with some banana chocolate, walnut, chocolate cherry, and then lemon for you citrus fans out there.
Yeah.
And then NutriBio with a dragon fruit candy Intrablast. And then our friends over at Gym Supplement Sciences launched a Rocky Road Pro Gym.
Feels good. And then guys, make sure you check out the website. We are having a big blowout sale with up to 50% off on some stuff, so make sure you check that out. And then RSP, the brand, is having a 48-hour BOGO, buy one, get one free sale, so check that out as well. Guys, thanks so much for joining us today. It's been a blast having you. We'll look forward to having you on the next Brain Gainz. Until then, keep on lifting.
Once upon a time, amino acids were just a pill that only the most hardcore lifters took. Today, active people of all types not only use them, they compare them like fine wines. The ingredient profile matters. The taste, you better believe that matters too. That's why we set out to make a better amino drink mix. That's our promise, and this is our signature. Signature BCAA.